All right, well, I'm on my phone, just waiting for my PC to connect here, but oh, there we go. All right. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, opening remarks.
Thanks, John. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Had a nice long weekend if you had one. Obviously, we continue to move along a path towards completion. There's still, as we've always said, and Alyssa will share this more, there's still some outstanding items that, are still on the punch list that we're working on. Obviously the lighting, although we seem to be making progress, is still an issue. We really, up until today, we hadn't heard any definitive information from them in terms of, this particular part of the system is complete. They're telling us that, parts of the system are complete now, which then allows us to, do some testing, really hold them accountable. Up until now, it's really just been, well, we're working on it. We did grant them remote access into the system, so that has allowed them to work on it. We're not having to wait for a tech to schedule time to come out or travel to come out, because they do have remote access. They can actually just remote into the system and work on it from wherever they are. So we continue to provide them updates in terms of what is working, what's not working. I know systems has been following up on a lot of the work that has been done, double checking to see if it is in fact working as it's intended. So we'll continue to work on that. I know, some of the systems, they've started to do some of the training. I know Director of Facilities met with Kerry and I believe Alyssa and Connor and the landscape architect to go over what needed to be replaced this spring. I think they're due to come out next week, Alyssa and Connor, correct me if I'm wrong, to do a mowing and some maintenance next week. And then if the weather cooperates, some new plantings. They'll remove obviously anything that isn't alive and needs to be replaced, and then they'll be able to turn that over to us. So again, we're making good progress. We're optimistic, cautiously optimistic about the lights, but everything else definitely seems to be moving in the right direction. And I'm happy to answer any questions that people may have. We do have some signage. I know, I think at our last meeting, there was some discussion around, signage up on the buildings outside. That signage has been ordered. And, just to make sure that people are aware when they are out in the playground, what can and can't be used on the playground, such as bikes, scooters, rollerblades, all those types of things we don't want on there. We did put out, we ordered signage for the interior for the gym doors. So that way we'll, have some type of alarm on that door. But we did, make notice that it was an emergency exit only to try to prevent during basketball for next year, people leaving the gym, going out into the playground and so forth. And then we'll also be putting up signage as well, just about the public cutting through. We've noticed that there's been an increase in foot traffic, not so much walking around the building, but, going from South Street down Wally Kruger Way and back and forth. So we want to put some signage up that we have at other schools that just basically says, we're limiting public access during, school hours. So those are some of the updates, but happy to answer any questions that anybody has, but I'm sure Alyssa and Connor will do a much better job of explaining everything that I just talked about.
I don't know. That was pretty good.
All right. Maybe I have a future in OPM work.
That's right.
Any questions?
I did see the signs go up on the back by that playground, by the back door today. They were putting the signs up on the fence.
All the signage was put up today, except for the one Ryan was talking about limiting hours during the school day. We have to order those.
All right, I'm gonna move on to item 4, approval of the previous SBC meeting minutes from March 13th.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 13th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second, Mike Loesch.
All right, let's take the roll.
John,
Yes.
Michael Dolan,
Yes.
thank you. Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Michael Loesch,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. All right, item 5, the OPM update.
All right, so Ryan did a great job with the update. So not really a lot of blanks to fill in there. We do have some work coming up on April vacation to do the pavement markings at the playground. Central Nurseries will be returning to do the mowing, the reseeding, and they're gonna try to get the dead plants that they've identified replanted if they can during this growing season. And if they're able to finish everything this spring, they will propose their work for final acceptance. And at that point, the landscape architect will come back and verify the work and then give the final approval if everything's up to date. So that's upcoming. As you know, we continue to meet with Cooper Lighting, Reflex and Systems with our project team. We will say significant progress is made, but we don't want to get our hopes up too much because we see that they go in the system, they make changes, they test and implement them, and then a few days later, an anomaly happens and we're adding things to the punch list. So we continue to track it. I think I sent a pretty lengthy update in the email. We did get an update today that they believe they are completed with their work, but they still need to demonstrate and train that work has been completed. So they'll have to return to do that. We haven't yet got a date for that. But as of now, the site lighting has been going off at the scheduled times, and it hasn't been on during the day. The wall packs outside have been off. They fixed the occupancy sensor issue in the single bathrooms. And they've proposed a solution for having an actual light switch for the site lighting outside when it's time to plow the parking lots. So that solution will be submitted through submittal process, and that will go in front of the engineer for approval. So we're continuing to track that process. I think significant progress has been made. I will say that, but we want to see them demonstrate that the work is 100% complete now. But they did write today in writing that they believe their work has been completed as far as closing out those deficiencies. So it's good news, but like I mentioned, we still want to have verification that everything is meeting the sequence of operations that was designed. So that will be the next steps. Having GGD, who's the engineer of record, also look at the program from the inside so they can verify and make sure everything is set the way it should be per the design. So that's going to happen as well. So these are the next few things going on, but again, we're continuing to track closer and closer to closeout. We still have to go through the full MSBA closeout process where we provide documentation to them, and we provide O&Ms and training, sign-in sheets and agendas and things like that. So still some work ahead of us, but we're in really good shape. So just a few progress photos, using those display cases now. Playground, lobby, cafeteria. The flashing lights were installed on South Street, and those are just pending programming now. And then the entrance. So these are just the remaining work items that we've been tracking each week. So again, the list is significantly smaller. We have Chandler returning to on the 4th, and then we are going to be doing a recoat on the lower level during the summer. Regarding the gym floor, that's been rejected by RDA. Bacon will be doing another seal coat on the gym floor during the summer break. So about 2 months away. And the plaque was installed today. So I got a nice photo from Principal Bray on that. So that looks great. And then the cafeteria shades were installed. The gas meter will be done on summer break. And then again, continuing to track some of the items with systems. The mic had to be reordered, so that's coming in. And then the revised fire alarm device maps are ongoing with NSG. And then we're still awaiting a panel board cover. So that's upcoming. We did have the training for the fence, so that for the vehicular gate, so that took place. There are a couple clickers that they're going to be programming coming up, and then the pavement markings happening in April. So we did have the contractor reach out to the building inspector, and we got a 6-month extension on our TCO, and that will just give us an opportunity to get these last items wrapped up, especially the panel board cover. That was a big one, because we need that for the electrical code. So a couple of these items, as you know, will be done this summer. So that 6-month extension has been granted to us, and we have that paperwork. So that's good news for our project. There's been a lot of TCOs that have been issued in town this year, just because of material issues as of late. Then just projecting the next couple building committee meetings, which again will get shorter and shorter as we go, hopefully into the summer. We'll be meeting very briefly. Continuing to track our budget. Again, we're on budget. We're not proposing any change orders this meeting. And then just continuing to track our pro pay per usual. There's a couple signatures that we just got, so we'll be processing those. But those submissions are getting smaller and smaller as well. All right, so any questions on this presentation? Any updates?
All right, no questions. I had to switch to my cell phone again. Sorry. If there aren't any questions, then we would move on to the designer update.
So I know that Jean had another commitment and John is on tonight, but I don't know if he had anything to add.
John, do you have anything to add for the designer update? All right. Okay. I can't see if there's anybody talking muted, but
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
oh yeah, we
Yes.
can now.
Yeah, I'm not used to, the mute sign is got a slash through it whether you're muted or not, and it lights up and I can't tell which is which. But to my knowledge, there's nothing that we have for an update other than that we are continuing to track the lighting, as Alyssa alluded to. I have not been able to confirm that GGD does in fact have remote access. But they are to go through the program, figure out what's going on. I will visit the site at night to verify that the site lighting is what it's supposed to be. And at some point we will sign off on it, but that's still probably a week away before we can actually do anything with that. And other than that, I don't know of anything that we have to do. If someone has questions, we can certainly answer them.
All right, any questions for John? All right. Why don't we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 7, approval of Bacon payment request, number 27.
Yep, so it's in the amount of $219,899. We did have them omit systems contract work from this. We did put on here their change order work because we're asking them to do related security work, and they will not price that out without being charged for the change order work. So that's a very small amount of this change order, but we do want to add additional security measures at the lobby just with recent events. So we'll make sure that that we get that passed so we can get the pricing in. But basically I put a summary in the email of who was asking to reduce their retainage, and it was all subcontractors that who have finished their work to date and did not have any open deficiencies or punch list items. So that's what this amount is for.
Okay, are there any questions on this payment request? All
John,
right.
just quick question to Alyssa. It's Pat.
Go ahead, Pat.
Alyssa, recent events at the school for security or recent events like nationwide?
Nationwide.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there aren't any more questions, then we'll take a motion.
This is Lil, motion to approve Bacon payment requisition number 27 in the amount of $219,899.
This is Mark. I'll second it.
All right, we'll do the roll.
John,
Yes.
Michael Dolan,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes,
Patrick,
Yes.
Michael Loesch,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 8, report of the communication group.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, next Mitchell Elementary School Building Committee meeting. That is scheduled for May 8th. Meeting 82. Moving on to item 10, new business. Does anybody have any new business? All right. Moving on to item 11, public comment. Any items for public comment? All right, now, the next item is adjourn, and we're only 22 minutes in. Something's got to be wrong.
John, can I just ask one more question that I was just reading the notes I had down from the last meeting to Alyssa?
Sure.
The fence, the cedar fence that was swaying, they were gonna come back and concrete a lot of those posts, straighten the fence out, and repair what needed to be fixed. I think there's a panel out as well. Have they done all that work?
So we asked for them to have a third party check the quality of that fence. So Bacon's going to be sending someone to come and verify and report back on the quality of the fence, but it was really the quality of the cedar fence and not the posts.
So that fence may not be up to the quality that we expected. Is that correct?
We want them to verify and check. Yes.
And if not, we'll take steps to have that rectified.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
If I could add, just what's a third party, Alyssa?
Someone other than the person who installed it.
A different firm?
No, well, yes, a different firm. Because it was Union Fence that installed it. So we don't want them to come and verify and say, yeah, everything's fine. We want someone else to look at it who is up to date with installing fences to tell us whether or not the quality is good.
Well, I imagine there was a spec, like it was #1 cedar and certain type of nail, like aluminum ring nails and all that stuff, right? Or was there not a spec in terms of the quality of the materials?
There was a spec, but we just want to verify that it's installed per the design.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Or comments? All right, well, I want to thank everybody for attending tonight, and the next item is adjourn.
I'll make the
Motion to
motion.
adjourn, Mike Loesch.
Second, Mark.
All right, thank you. We'll take the roll.
John,
Yes,
Michael Dolan,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Michael Loesch,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting's adjourned.
thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
take care.
Good
folks.
Thanks,
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.